Today we're going to make Asian meatloaf.
Sounds good.
And why is it called Asian?
Well, in this recipe, we're going to put hoisin sauce, we're going to put Portuguese sauce in there, and we're also going to put ginger. This is a really good, actually a good classic recipe. And if you didn't want to make Asian meatloaf, you could just omit those things and you'd have a good solid meatloaf. But since we're in Hawaii, I thought it'd be fun to, jazz it up with a little bit of Asian flair.
Okay, so I'm just dumping everything in, right? I have the ground beef, the ground pork, the panko.
Panko. And in Hawaii, a lot of people will have Japanese breadcrumbs in their pantry, so I wrote it with that. But if you have regular breadcrumbs, that works fine too.
Am I doing this right?
Yeah, it looks great. Well, why don't you add everything? You can add everything. Everything you need, yeah. One of the things that people ask is, why am I using pork? And classically, a meatloaf recipe has veal, beef, and pork. In this recipe, I chose to add pork and not the veal. If your preference is just to have beef, you could do that, or you could just do all turkey. So it's a pretty versatile recipe here. I got celery that I just minced up. I'm going to put that in here.
And how much salt? Just a pinch?
A couple pinches. A couple of your pinches would work. We get that in.
And pepper too?
Pepper, yeah.
And I just mix it with my hands, right?
Yeah. Now what you want to do is you want to get in there and really mix it. Couple of things that are important about what Cheryl's doing is she's mixing it not only to get everything mixed together, but actually by the act of her agitating or working through the ground product, she's developing the proteins in there, and it's going to help with the binding of the product together. One of the other things that you could do if you wanted to have a lighter meatloaf is you could add a little bit of dairy into it. So you could add some milk. Sometimes people put half and half. And what that does is it just makes a little bit of a lighter dish. Now I got some ginger that I'm chopping up here that I'm going to throw in. It looks good. Now what you want to do, there you go. See, I'll even hold it. Just kind of flip the whole thing over there. You see how it's getting tighter, right? You feel it getting tighter? Okay, I'm going to let go now.
I think I need to put a towel underneath the bowl.
Good idea.
To
Lift that up.
keep it from slipping.
Here, lift that up. Or I'll put it up for you.
I think that's a good tip, right?
What's the tip?
Put a rag underneath the bowl so it doesn't slip.
What kind of rag?
Dish rag.
Dry or wet?
Wet.
Yeah, so damp.
Damp.
So now ginger's ready to go. Hang on for a sec, we put that in. Give me a second here. That's looking.
Ooh, the ginger smells really good.
That's actually looking. You're doing a really good job. You can. One of the things to check in here to know if you're good enough, or if the meatloaf is good enough, is you take a piece of it and you go like that between your fingers, and it should feel sticky. Tell me if it's sticky. Is it tacky?
Yeah, tacky.
Okay, so you're pretty good there. I tell you what, I need to just finish this veg here because I'm falling behind because I'm talking too much. But let me finish this up. I'll put that in, and then you can go ahead and we'll get them in the pans. You know, the fun thing about meatloaf is once you get this basic ratio down, it becomes then a, whatever you have in your fridge kind of experience. You can, make it different every single time, or you can develop your own signature one. So it's really a kind of a fun, I think it's a fun thing to deal with, and it's also one of those kinds of things that's real comforting,
Comfort.
Perfect with rice, love it with mashed potatoes. I love meatloaf sandwiches the next day. There's lots of things you can do with it. Go ahead and mix that. I'm going to put some carrot in there. The thing about carrots, it might be interesting, is I just cut a little piece of the carrot off, and then I'm going to flip it over to that cut side. So now I have a flat surface so that I can cut my carrot easily. When you're cutting your vegetables to put into the mix, you do want to cut them on the smaller side. And the reason for that is because you want it to cook through in the cooking process. And if it's too big, you're going to end up with kind of raw pieces of vegetable. You don't want that. So carrots are going to go in now.
And that's the last thing, right?
Yeah, would you do me the honors of getting all that evenly mixed through? And then we'll go ahead and we'll put them in pans and we'll get them ready to bake.
Okay.
Okay, so now that we've all got this mix, we're gonna go ahead and put these in pans and we're gonna bake them. So go ahead and make nice big pieces like that, and then you wanna drop it in and then let it kind of fall in there. Good. And the reason why I'm asking you to do that is because the force of you dropping it in here helps push out air, and you don't want air bubbles in there. So you actually want to slap it in here. Nice. That's good. Go ahead and even divvy the rest of it between the two.
Oh, okay.
Now I'm using smaller loaf pans instead of doing a big one because I wanted to, cook a little faster for their smaller pans. If you want to make a massive one, you can also do that. It just takes longer to cook. Okay. So now, what you need to do here is take these and take yours and just you're gonna like that. Okay. Go ahead and press it in here to evenly fill. Kind of push it up in the center a little bit.
Push it up in the center.
Yeah, actually, I need some. You took.
Oh.
I'm gonna put some here. One of the things I forgot to tell you is that I pre-sprayed these with pan release, so it will help a little bit with the process. Okay. How does it look?
That's good, huh?
Yeah, pretty good. And you want to try to really
get
the air out. Okay, now we have two evenly shaped loaves. We're gonna do our glaze. So I have hoisin sauce and barbecue sauce. And the barbecue sauce you can use as your favorite sauce, whichever one you want. Okay. I'm adding a mixture of hoisin and barbecue because I don't want the hoisin to be super, super strong. If you love hoisin, it wouldn't hurt if you went crazy and just put only hoisin. So I'm gonna put some here, evenly between the two.
So if we were making this as patties, would we add the sauce inside the patty?
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily. You could because it'll give you more flavor and moisture, but I haven't tested. So if you're gonna try to do that, you have to be careful to put enough so that it adds flavor. But if you put too much, the mixture may become too loose. So I'd put a little. You put a little bit if you want.
Just a little bit for flavor.
Yeah, a couple teaspoons or a couple tablespoons. That would work. So I've evenly spread out the glaze onto our nice little meatloaf here. And I'm going to put them on the pan. You can put one on there. We're going to put these in the oven at 325, and you want to put them in uncovered because that way, as they bake, the glaze will become thicker and it'll glaze over the meatloaf. Keep in mind, you should expect, because this is a ground beef product, ground meat product, that it's also going to shrink a little bit. It shouldn't shrink too much, but it will shrink a little bit, so it will come out a little bit smaller.
Okay.
We'll put these in, and I'm going to bake these until my thermometer comes out. I'm going to test with a thermometer, and you want it to be 160 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's the safe temperature for cooked beef for consumption.
Okay,
all right?
Let's put it in the oven.
Cool.
All right, so we took it out of the oven, and it looks great.
And you can see here, there's little spaces in here, and that's because it shrank a little bit, but the breadcrumbs helped kind of minimize that. So what I'm going to do is, because we sprayed it, remember, it shouldn't be stuck, but I'm just going to run a knife just to make sure, because sometimes the glaze kind of comes down and sticks a little bit. It looks actually pretty good. And then I'm going to take it out. We'll slice it up and see what we got here. I'm going to put a little paper towel here just so that I don't dirty my hands, but here we go. It actually looks really good. Whoa. So we'll put that down there. Sometimes I have a little bit extra glaze because I can touch it back up if I want to. But I think it looks really good. I'll slice a few pieces here. It looks good, I think. Look at that steam coming out. Look at that. Oh, you can see Portuguese sausage here, yeah? So I got to go in for one of these pieces here. It's good.
What's it taste
Very
like?
good. Well, you get the Asian flavors going on. I can taste the Portuguese sausage. I can taste the ginger, just real lightly. The glaze is beautiful. It's hints of hoisin, but not too much hoisin. And it's not heavy. This will be really good with wasabi mashed potatoes, I think I'm going to work on that next. It's good. Make it. You won't be sorry.
For this recipe and more, visit us at foodland.com.